What if the real enemy isn't the fear itself, but the silence you keep around it? You know that feeling, something inside tightening, warning you to hold back, to stay small, to not take that step forward. It whispers doubts, shrinks your voice, and pulls you into a place where dreams quietly fade without a fight. Fear doesn't have to roar to be deadly. Sometimes it kills slowly, when you stop moving, when you freeze and pretend it's not there. The truth is, fear isn't the villain. Fear is a signal, a powerful message trying to get your attention. But the moment you ignore that message, the moment you choose silence over action, fear grows stronger, more dangerous, and your dreams slip farther away. You might think that avoiding fear will protect you, keep you safe. But in that avoidance, you are not safe at all. You are trapped. Science tells us that when you run from fear, it doesn't disappear. Instead, it tightens its grip. Anxiety builds. The unknown becomes a monster in your mind, bigger than it needs to be. The real tragedy is how many brilliant ideas, passionate hearts, and unstoppable potential are buried beneath the weight of silence. You hold inside you something that could change your life, your world even, but fear keeps you locked behind an invisible wall. It whispers that you're not ready, that you should wait for the perfect moment that never comes. And so, day after day, you postpone your dreams, telling yourself tomorrow will be better. What if tomorrow never comes? What if the price of waiting is higher than you realize? When you stay silent, fear wins. It wins by stealing your voice, your courage, your power. But when you decide to face fear, even just a little, that's when everything begins to shift. It's not about being fearless. It's about being brave enough to speak up, to take one small step forward while your heart pounds. The first move cracks the wall fear has built around you. It shows fear you're not its prisoner. You don't have to wait for fear to disappear. That moment may never come. Instead, act while the fear is there. Move when your hands shake. Dream louder than your doubt. Courage doesn't come from the absence of fear. It comes from choosing what matters more than fear. Imagine how different your life could be if you stopped hiding in silence. Imagine the doors that could open when you refuse to let fear have the last word. You are not alone in this battle.
Everyone feels fear.
What separates those who live their dreams from those who don't is simple. They refuse to stay silent. They learn to listen to fear, to understand it, and then outwit it. This video will take you on that journey, helping you transform fear from a prison into a guide. Stay with me, because what comes next will change how you see fear forever. If you want your dreams to live, you must outwit the silence that feeds your fear. It's time to speak, to act, and to reclaim what is yours. The life you want is waiting beyond the walls fear has built. Will you break free? Fear doesn't usually explode all at once. It sneaks in quietly, slowly, like a thief in the night stealing pieces of your future without you even realizing it. It doesn't have to shout to destroy your dreams. It just needs you to pause, hesitate, or choose comfort over challenge one time too many. Every day that you tell yourself maybe later, every excuse you make to stay stuck chips away at your potential. The safe choices you cling to are the very chains that keep you from becoming who you're meant to be. Fear is subtle and patient. It thrives in the moments you don't notice, in the small decisions where you shrink back instead of stepping forward. Over time, those moments build walls around your dreams, walls so high and thick that the possibility of escape seems impossible. Think about the jobs you stay in, not because they inspire you, but because they feel familiar. Think about the words you never say, the risks you never take, and the passions you bury deep inside. These are the silent sacrifices fear asks for, and they come at a price far greater than you realize. The brain's instinct is to protect you, to keep you safe from harm. But safety does not mean growth, and growth does not come from staying still. Your mind's survival wiring reacts to discomfort as a threat, not as a signal that you are on the edge of something new and vital. That wiring makes you doubt, makes you hesitate, and it makes you settle. Yet the dreams waiting inside you demand a different response. They require you to rise above the instinct to hide and step into uncertainty with boldness. Comfort feels good now, but it slowly turns into regret. You may not see it immediately, but that quiet pain grows. It gnaws at you when you're alone with your thoughts, whispering all the things you didn't do. Fear dresses itself in excuses that sound reasonable. I'm not ready. I don't have the time. What if I fail? Each excuse is a trap that keeps you from the one thing you need most, action. The truth is, those excuses don't protect you. They imprison you. They convince you that staying where you are is safer than chasing what you want. But safety without fulfillment is a prison disguised as peace. You are choosing a slow death for your dreams when you choose waiting. Ask yourself honestly, how many moments have you let fear stop you? How many chances have slipped away because you believed the lie that you must be perfect, prepared, or fearless before you try? Fear uses those lies to keep you locked down, but every moment you wait, your dreams slip further into the background. The longer you hesitate, the harder it becomes to remember why you wanted to try in the first place. Fear is patient, but so are you. The power to break free lies in your hands. You don't have to wait for fear to disappear. You only have to be brave enough to act while it's still there, to choose your dream over the comfort of silence. This is the moment when your life begins to change, when you decide that fear will not kill your dream by default. You are stronger than the hesitation. You are louder than the doubt. You can choose courage now and reclaim what fear tried to steal. Courage is often misunderstood. Many believe it is the absence of fear, a rare gift reserved for the few. But real courage is far simpler and more powerful than that. Courage is the decision to move forward despite fear, to choose action even when your heart pounds and your mind screams to stop. It is not about waiting to feel ready or to become fearless. That moment may never come. Courage happens in the brief electric seconds when you push past hesitation and choose what matters more than your doubts. It is a muscle that grows stronger each time you flex it, a habit that forms when you refuse to let fear dictate your life. You are not born fearless. You are born capable of courage. That capability is inside you right now, waiting for you to claim it. Your mind will try to trick you into believing that fear is bigger than you. It will shout warnings and create vivid images of failure. This is your survival instinct doing its job, wired to protect you from danger, not to help you grow. But growth and safety rarely live in the same place. Growth requires stepping into discomfort, risking the unknown, and daring to be vulnerable. The choice is yours. Stay safe and small, or embrace the uneasy path that leads to transformation. Meaning is the fuel that makes courage possible. When your reason for moving forward is strong enough, fear loses its power. When your why is clear and burning inside you, the shaking hands and racing heart become signals of life, not signals of retreat. You do not have to wait for a perfect feeling of confidence to take the first step. Waiting for readiness is often a form of procrastination disguised as wisdom. The truth is, readiness is not a feeling, it is a decision. Deciding to start, even when scared, rewires your brain. It teaches you that fear is not a stop sign, but a green light to move forward. Every small action you take builds momentum, reshapes your mindset, and shrinks the space fear occupies. You don't need to leap across the gap all at once. You only need to put one foot in front of the other. Courage is found in those small, consistent steps that add up to real change. This is your training ground, your proving ground, your moment to rise. Look inside and find that one dream you have been holding back on because you felt unready or too afraid. That dream is not out of reach. It only waits for your permission to live. When you act in spite of fear, you are not defying it, you are outsmarting it. The fear will not disappear, but its grip weakens every time you choose purpose over panic. Courage does not mean you will never fail. It means you will never let failure define you. It means you will keep moving, learning, and growing no matter what. This is the turning point where your dream begins to outshine your fear. You are not a prisoner to your doubts. You are the author of your future. Your courage today is the bridge to the life you deserve. The choice is yours. Remain frozen in fear, or step boldly into the unknown and find out what's possible. Perfection is a trap disguised as a virtue. It hides behind the fear of failure, judgment, and rejection, convincing you that if what you do isn't flawless, it isn't worth doing at all. This lie keeps you frozen, waiting for a moment that will never arrive, a moment when everything aligns perfectly, when you feel completely prepared, when fear has magically disappeared. But that moment doesn't exist. Waiting for perfection is waiting for permission to remain stuck. It's an excuse that fear uses to keep you locked inside your comfort zone. Perfectionism is fear in a mask, whispering that you must be flawless or invisible. It silences your voice and steals your chance to grow. The truth is that progress is born in imperfection. No great dream or achievement began as a perfect plan. Every step forward starts messy, uncertain, and full of mistakes. Those who move ahead do so because they accept their flaws, their fears, and their humanity. They understand that the pursuit of perfection is a roadblock, not a guide. When you wait for everything to be perfect, you are choosing stagnation over transformation. You are choosing the illusion of safety over the risk of becoming more. Your dreams don't require perfection, they require action. They need you to show up, to try, to fail, and to try again. Every imperfect step you take is a victory against the fear that wants to keep you small. Behind perfectionism lies a deeper fear. The fear of being seen is not enough. It is the fear that if you reveal your true self, with all your flaws and mistakes, you will be rejected or judged. This fear isolates you, making you believe that hiding is safer than being vulnerable. But hiding kills dreams faster than failure ever could. Your voice, your ideas, and your dreams matter, not because they are perfect, but because they are uniquely yours. The world doesn't need perfect versions of you. It needs the real you showing up and daring to create. Perfection is a myth that steals time and energy from your potential. The sooner you let go of it, the sooner you reclaim your power. Done is better than perfect. Progress is more powerful than pause. Every time you wait for the ideal moment, you miss the chance to build momentum. Movement fuels motivation, while waiting feeds fear. If you want to outwit your fears, you must reject the lie that you need to be perfect to begin. Start with what you have, where you are, exactly as you are. Your imperfect effort will grow stronger every time you act, and fear will lose its hold a little more. The courage to begin, despite your doubts and flaws, is the gateway to transformation. Your dream deserves your presence, not your perfection. You don't have to be flawless to create a life worth living. You only have to be willing to show up, to speak, and to act. The moment you decide that being seen is more important than being perfect, you break the cycle that fear uses to keep you stuck. You reclaim your voice and your future. Perfectionism will always whisper, but your dream will always shout louder. Choose to listen to your dream. Choose to move. Choose to be present. Your life is waiting beyond the lie of perfection. Step forward and claim it. Fear lives in the language you use, the words you say to yourself, the stories you repeat inside your mind. Every thought is a thread in the fabric of your reality. When those threads are woven with doubt, worry, and self-criticism, they create a cage that traps you far more effectively than any external barrier. Your brain is wired to focus on danger, to scan for threats, and to highlight what could go wrong. This negativity bias makes fear feel louder and more urgent than hope or possibility. The phrases you tell yourself shape how you see the world and, most importantly, how you see yourself. If your inner dialogue is full of "I can't," "I'm not enough," or "this will never work," then fear becomes a voice that feels impossible to silence. But thoughts are not facts. They are interpretations, habits of the mind that can be changed. When you begin to notice the fearful language running through your head, you gain the power to rewrite it. Instead of "what if I fail?" try asking, "what if this is the start of something great?" Instead of "I don't deserve this," say, "I am worthy of my dreams." Language is the gateway to belief. When you shift your words, you shift your identity. You begin to see yourself not as a victim of fear, but as a person capable of courage, growth, and change. This is not about ignoring fear or pretending it's not there. It's about refusing to let fear's story become your story. The most dangerous prison is the one built from your own thoughts. When you accept every fearful thought as truth, you build walls that isolate you from your dreams. But awareness is freedom. Becoming conscious of your inner dialogue means you can pause before believing it. You can challenge it, question it, and choose a different narrative. This takes practice, but every time you catch yourself in fear's trap, you reclaim a piece of your power. It is not weakness to have fearful thoughts. It is weakness to let those thoughts control your life. You are more than your fears, but only if you learn to speak to yourself with kindness and truth. Change begins in the mind, but it cannot stay there. Rewiring your inner script must be matched by action. When you speak to yourself with hope and courage, your behaviors follow. Your decisions become aligned with possibility, not limitation. Fear shrinks when it meets a mind prepared to challenge it. Each time you replace a fearful thought with a hopeful one, you create new neural pathways, building strength and resilience. This is how transformation happens. One thought, one choice, one moment at a time. You hold the pen to your internal story. What you write there determines what you live here. Fear may whisper lies, but you have the power to speak the truth. Your dreams are waiting for you to believe in them as much as fear tries to make you doubt. Begin rewriting your script now. Choose words that lift you up, that push you forward, that fuel your courage. Outwit fear not just with action, but with the language that shapes your soul. Your future depends on what you tell yourself today. Make it a story worth living. Action is the antidote to fear. You may believe you need clarity, the perfect plan, or endless preparation before you move forward. But the truth is the opposite. Movement creates clarity. Waiting for certainty keeps you trapped in a cycle where fear grows louder and your dreams grow dimmer. The moment you choose to act, even in small ways, you break the spell that fear holds over you. Motion sparks momentum. It awakens courage. It rewires your brain to see possibility instead of threat. You don't have to leap across the entire gap all at once. You only need to take the next step in front of you. That small step is the first crack in the wall that fear built around your potential. Your mind loves comfort and predictability. It will argue with you, telling you to wait, to plan more, to not risk failure. But every moment spent waiting is a moment lost to doubt. Action forces your brain to update its maps of what is possible. It teaches your mind that fear signals not an end, but a beginning. You are training your nervous system to tolerate discomfort and uncertainty, which are the true companions of growth. This is how you reprogram yourself from being a prisoner of fear into a master of your destiny. Every movement forward, no matter how small, chips away at fear's power. The paralysis of hesitation is broken by simple, decisive motion. There are simple tools you can use to outwit fear with action. The 5-second rule is one. When you feel hesitation, count down from 5 and move before your mind can argue. Micro goals are another, tiny, manageable tasks that build your confidence one victory at a time. These strategies are not magic, they are discipline in motion. Discipline creates habits. Habits shape identity. When you make action your default response to fear, you change who you are. You become someone who faces challenges rather than runs from them. Someone who chooses growth over safety. Someone who does not let fear write the story of their life. Judgment is one of fear's sharpest weapons. It convinces you that people are watching, waiting to mock your failure or ridicule your efforts. But the truth is, most people are too wrapped up in their own fears to notice yours. You are not as visible or vulnerable as you think. The fear of judgment is often worse than the judgment itself. When you act despite this fear, you are not only outwitting fear, you are freeing yourself from the weight of imagined opinions. You reclaim your right to exist fully, unapologetically, and courageously. Remember, your dreams will not come to life through wishful thinking. They require consistent, focused action. Your future self depends on the choices you make right now. You don't rise to your dreams by waiting for motivation or the perfect moment. You rise through daily habits that align with your vision. The first step might not take you all the way, but it takes you away from where you no longer want to be. Each step forward is a declaration that fear will not control your destiny. Action is your rebellion, your power, your freedom. Choose to move now and watch how your dreams begin to breathe. Fear never truly disappears. It lives inside you like a shadow, always ready to resurface. But fear does not have to control your life. You can become smarter than your fear. You can outwit it. This requires building habits that train your mind to embrace discomfort instead of fleeing from it. It means creating daily rituals that push you just beyond what feels safe, so your nervous system learns that fear is not a signal to stop, but a signal to grow. When you face fear repeatedly, it loses its grip. It becomes background noise instead of a roaring storm. This is not about eliminating fear, that is impossible, but about living a life that outshines it. Building systems to manage fear changes everything. Simple practices like writing down your fears help bring them out of the dark and into the light where they lose their power. Visualizing success rewires your brain to expect positive outcomes instead of failure. Gradually exposing yourself to small risks trains your courage muscle. Each time you take on a challenge that scares you, you send a message to your brain that fear is manageable. Over time, this rewiring becomes automatic. Fear no longer paralyzes you, it energizes you. It becomes the fuel that propels you forward instead of the chain that holds you back. Long-term thinking changes how you view fear and risk. Imagine 10 years from now, looking back at this moment. Will you regret not trying? Will you wish you had faced the fear instead of hiding? The fear you feel today is temporary, but the regrets of inaction last a lifetime. Dreams die not because of enemies or obstacles, but because of hesitation and delay. Your future self is counting on you to be brave now. Your dreams are not just yours. They are a gift, a permission slip for others to dare. When you step forward, you break invisible chains not only for yourself, but for those watching silently, waiting for someone to lead. Flip the script on fear by asking yourself a different question. Instead of, what if I fail? Ask, what if I never try? This question is a game changer. It shifts your focus from avoiding pain to seeking possibility. It moves you from a place of scarcity to one of abundance. When you live with this mindset, fear becomes less about threat and more about opportunity. The hesitation that once stopped you is replaced by curiosity and courage. You start to see fear as a signpost pointing to what matters most. Dreams do not die from external forces. They die from hesitation within. Fear knocks on your door every day. You can choose to answer or ignore it. But the longer you hesitate, the stronger fear becomes. You have the power to decide. Will you let fear bury your dream alive? Or will you stand, speak, and move forward with courage? The choice is yours, and it is urgent. Outwit fear by building a life that refuses to be limited by it. Choose courage. Choose action. Choose the life that waits for you beyond the walls fear has built. The moment is now. The moment you decide to outwit fear, you take the first step toward building a life that outlives it. Fear will always knock at your door, but you don't have to answer. You don't have to let it dictate your choices or control your future. Every time you refuse to listen, every time you push through discomfort and doubt, you claim your power back. This is how freedom begins, not by eliminating fear, but by refusing to let it have the final say. Your dreams are too important to be buried beneath hesitation. You were not made to live small, to shrink from your potential, or to settle for less than you deserve. You were made to rise, to fight, and to transform. Building courage is a daily practice. It requires creating systems that remind you of your strength even when your mind screams to quit. Writing down your fears, speaking them aloud, and seeing them for what they truly are, strips them of their power. Visualizing success rewires your brain to expect possibility instead of failure. Deliberately exposing yourself to small risks expands your comfort zone and trains your mind to embrace uncertainty. These rituals may feel uncomfortable at first, but discomfort is the language of growth. When you meet fear with action, it loses its grip. It becomes a challenge you are prepared for, not a threat that paralyzes you. Think long term. Imagine looking back years from now and realizing that the fear you felt today was the very thing that nearly stopped you from becoming who you were meant to be. Regret is heavier than fear because it lasts. The hesitation you feel now might seem justified, but it will haunt you if it stops you from chasing your dreams. The life you want is waiting beyond your fear, but you have to be brave enough to walk toward it. Your courage doesn't just change your life, it changes the lives of those around you. Your boldness becomes permission for others to pursue their own dreams. Fear loses its hold when you become a beacon of possibility. Shift your mindset by changing the questions you ask yourself. Replace "what if I fail" with "what if I succeed beyond my wildest dreams." Replace "what if I'm not ready" with "what if this is exactly the moment I was meant to start." These questions redirect your focus from scarcity and limitation to abundance and opportunity. They turn fear into a guidepost rather than a stop sign. When you live with this perspective, hesitation fades and action becomes inevitable. Fear remains, but it no longer controls you. Your dreams don't die because of the obstacles outside. They die because of the hesitation inside. Fear will knock every day, but you have the power to decide if you answer or ignore it. Or don't let fear bury your dreams alive. Choose courage. Choose action. Choose the life waiting beyond the walls fear has built. The moment to act is now. Your future self is waiting for you to be brave. Step forward and claim your destiny.